And election season heating up as Democratic presidential candidates fight each other in early primaries. Today is the day college basketball fans have been waiting for tip-off of the NCAA tournament. And it was a beautiful day out in Nashville today, 60-degree weather. But the question is, will we see more freezing temperatures during the week?
Yeah, the second half of
A good 911 dispatcher can be the difference between life and death, but most dispatchers aren't eligible for important benefits. Metro Public Works estimates that $131 million is needed to repair and replace the city's bridges. And more local news tonight. A teen accused of a crime spree across Clarksville is now in custody. Police say Brian Cook took part in several armed robberies last week. We continue to follow a breaking news alert after two teens escaped from a juvenile detention facility this morning. One was caught almost immediately and the other was captured just a short time ago. Everyone talking about 97 degrees outside. Well, if you're waiting for the fall, the best place to be tonight is right here inside Bridgestone Arena. We heard Taylor Swift may be in town, but maybe Robin will be singing somewhere on one of these karaoke.
I can sing. I can do a little.
Rockets out Tennessee.
All right, that song's probably better than the Vols are playing this year, I can tell you that. If there was a Preds game, you might stop by.
Oh, 100%. I'm a Michigan gal. We love hockey.
All right, we may have a new Preds fan. Much of Middle Tennessee getting hit hard by those weekend storms, but in Humphreys and Decatur County, specifically here on Cuba Landing Road, we've seen extensive damage. As we walk here, you can see many of the roadways still covered by downed trees. More than 1,000 teachers called out today. We heard about 36 bus drivers as well. These teachers want higher salaries. Hey, we're here on Cheatham Place in North Nashville now, and you can take a look. We've come across this massive building. I don't know what this is, but you can see the paneling has been ripped off. The insulation has been scattered. Cheatham Place, a lot of damage here, a lot of down power lines. The power is out. We've seen a lot of people kind of peering out their windows. The good news is they're staying inside. That rain has slowed down, but I want you to take a look at this home. We've seen a lot of damage to these homes as well. This entire wall has been blown off. The 65-acre property sat empty for years, but now with a new proposed development, some residents we spoke to say if the gates open again, they're concerned with what will go on to the property. That's not the only damage. That truck actually backed up and then drove into the side of this home. Imagine something like this coming through your windshield. Traffic backed up for miles right after it happened. Now as the water goes down, we're starting to get our first look at some of the damage and just how high that water was. This SUV where someone was saved last night, the water all the way up to the windshield. Being out here, I feel like I can give you a traffic and weather update at the same time, but first let's start with this traffic. Down trees, down power lines, everywhere you look there was some kind of damage. But let's get down here and show you. It looks to be about an inch or so right now. Now this morning, not as many moving parts as we've seen in the last few days as the draft is now just one day away, but there are a few food trucks and delivery trucks that are continuing to drop last-minute items off. There's lots of low-lying areas like this where someone can crouch down right next to the highway. This is all kind of unfolding in front of us. There's actually a number of agents, deputies from all these agencies. There goes the sheriff. Each person has their own story of what happened, some inside the concert venue, some just walking down the Vegas Strip. And if a new school wasn't enough, how about a new classroom with a working ambulance inside where students can actually work? Feeling unsafe about meeting up with a random person to trade? Well, that's understandable. There have been robberies and people scammed out of hundreds of dollars. The good news is there are safe trade zones set up outside many police departments. They also have cameras watching your every move. A walk around Vanderbilt University's campus looks much different these days.
Oh, really?
they're still learning how to do online classes.
Conversations are different as well.
I mean, they can't cancel graduation. I feel like that would be
good.
On Monday, classes were halted after the university announced some students might have been exposed to someone who tested positive with coronavirus.
I mean, it was definitely shocking at first. It's 3 weeks of not being on campus.
Students from the Owen Graduate School of Management like Ishan Galati,
I think it's hard to not monitor it.
and Jose Padilla
It feels very empty right now. Usually you'll see people buzzing all over.
will now continue classes online until March 30th. Although that day to return to classes could change.
I think that as long as we're still being able to learn the material and being able to contribute, then I think it shouldn't make too much of a difference.
We support this decision, and although we prefer to obviously have classes inside the buildings. We understand why they're making these decisions.
Now, as some students pack up and head home, Galati and Padilla say they will continue to monitor the spread of the virus.
And we know that it's kind of a changing situation with how this is going to progress. So, and we know that the university has our best interests at heart, so we kind of support their decision to keep us safe.
Both hoping they'll be able to return to classes this semester.
And hopefully back in April, if you get the chance to come here, you're going to see the school buzzing all over again.
Michael Cummins stands accused of killing 8 people last month in Westmoreland, and today he made his first appearance here at the Sumner County General Sessions Courthouse. On hand, some of the family members that lost loved ones on that horrific night. Sitting in silence as he was wheeled into the courtroom, Michael Cummins came face to face with some of the family members of those he's accused of killing.
The moment they wheeled him in that room, I had wished for him to die.
One of those family members, Steve McLaughlin, so emotional during the hearing he yelled out in anger and was removed from the courtroom as a TBI agent described how his 12-year-old niece was found dead.
A little hard to take, a little hard to take. It's bad enough, the description of everything else, but with that, it's just, I just couldn't keep quiet no longer.
Cummins, who's facing 7 first-degree murder charges, attempted first-degree murder, and theft, could be seen rocking back and forth for the entire hearing, a hearing that revealed disturbing details about the night 8 people were murdered.
I feel Sumner County dropped the ball. This man shouldn't have been out. He's had an extensive record. They know he's violent. They knew all this.
The murders happened while Cummins was on probation, so I asked Sumner County District Attorney Ray Whitley if Cummins should have been out. Did Sumner County drop the ball in having this man out on the streets again?
Let me just say this. There's no sight like 20/20 hindsight, and everybody has 20/20 hindsight right now. And if we'd known that he was going to do this, nobody would have allowed him to be out. But all the facts were presented to the judge, and we did not drop the ball. We did what we should have done, and it turned out bad. Sometimes it happens. You cannot predict human behavior.
A man now accused of killing not only his parents, but many others as well. And a family now left mourning those they loved.
And now he took the most important thing away from me, is my wife, my daughter, and granddaughter. And I'm really hurt. Excuse me.